Well, we're going to be hopping into Ephemeron for the first game here. Both these guys currently topping their groups and looking to get out successfully into the next round, but it's always the question. I mean, actually, this could determine who gets out literally first as opposed to second. But here we are, game number 1, in the top left as the Red Terran, the machine. He is Innovation.
And spawning over in the southeast side, playing as the Blue Protoss, playing for Team Jin Air Green Wings, it is Maru.
Maru having a bit of a struggle versus Trap, or maybe a bit more than a struggle, but Trap having a really tough time with the rest of the group, actually, whereas he has been, I mean, kind of coasting through, but now up against Innovation, the macro god, someone who could, yeah, definitely, like Todd said, go into mech. We did see some of that in the TvT of the qualifiers here. The TY actually faced it, I think. I think Tasia's the one who did the mech. That's a throwback name.
Certainly is. For Maru going up against like any of his teammates when it comes to the Protoss players specifically, like even though I always think of Maru as like one of the best players in the world, and we've always wanted to see him versus Serral, when it comes to him versus like Trap or SOS, even when I think he's in really good form, those guys tend to get the better of him. And it's, I mean, that might come down to those are the guys that you practice with all the time. Yeah. They know all your tricks, because Maru, as strong as his micro is and as smart as he is, if he gives away his tricks and stuff to his teammates, then they can kind of know how to beat him. So starting off against Trap and losing there, I don't think it's too bad. But here, we have two very respectable builds here where you know that your opponent is very, very good. So they're both scouting early, and it looks like they're both going to go for a fairly early expand, except Maru went for the double gas. So respecting his opponent even a little bit more here.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to guess it's actually the factory expand, not all the way up to a 1-1-1. In fact, going up all the way to Starport's almost, in my opinion, become like, meme is too strong of a word, but it doesn't happen that often. It's almost always a factory expand, a CC after barracks, or I suppose, well, a 2-Rex can happen still.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually when you see things like the SV Scout, that usually says that you're the guy going for the expansion, because you need to know if you're up against a proxy 2-Rex, you need to know what opening you have to do afterwards. Both these guys, this is really neat, by the way. A lot of people will send their SCVs completely back home, but both of them, even playing kind of defensively with an SCV, and Maru's going immediately for that Reaper. He knows how important it is, but Innovation, he's microing very well here. Does lose one SCV.
This is actually very greedy from Innovation. Not just like going for the CC after barracks, but then adding a reactor immediately after a Reaper. Not a second Reaper, not another Marine, and not getting a Hellion first. I mean, the factory just finished, and that will help. Okay, he did get that first, but still, the lack of barracks production can be very scary.
And look at this. Like, I dare say that Innovation wanted to get out double Hellion after doing this opening, but he has to resort to getting out units as fast as possible. Now Maru shows up with his second Reaper as well, and this CC is super delayed here. I
mean, this is exactly why you usually see like either a second Reaper or just, I mean, delay on the reactor, basically. Unfortunately, the first fight maybe not going the way he wanted. He wanted to get the quick sight from the Reaper. Now he's forced to wait for the Hellion. The micro battle does happen here with 2 Marines and a concave. It's not too difficult for the defending player to hold on, but still losing time in the CC and losing 3 SCVs.
That is way more of an edge than Maru should have got. Like, he ran with the same army, or the same little composition up the ramp. Like, up the ramp, he was getting the shot off second there. And Innovation just kind of got a little bit outclassed in the initial micro skirmish of this game. That being said, Maru, he still did go for a slightly later CC, which does mean that his economy is kind of going to equal out with his opponent, even though the delay was there. What, double Cyclone medevac?
Yeah, that's an odd one to me. I mean, occasionally you'll see like a tank drop, but like I actually think those are kind of bad. You know, a single tank and a medevac with a couple Marines, but 2 Cyclones coming through here. That's going to be a heck of a lot of micro potential, is what I'm thinking, coming from Maru.
And he's loaded up with 4 Marines here in a Cyclone with a second Cyclone on the way, so is he going to just send that across the map? Is it for safety back home? Honestly, I don't know at this point. Innovation going for something far more orthodox here with the Raven first, then the Cyclones for safety, because he does have a decent number of Marines. Trying to deal damage to this setup is going to be tricky.
And the second Cyclone's coming along, but now just on the 1, the Raven could up with an auto turret, which is exactly what it's going to do. The only option it really has. Grenade, bops, Innovation, Zeniths every which way. But he's got this big concave. He does have the option of pulling the SCVs if he's truly, truly desperate. This is just a very odd push.
That medevac is putting in work, by the way. Like, his units are healing constantly. Ooh, a nice lock onto the Cyclone, but a nice pickup by Maru, denying that lock-in entirely. And there's no medevac for innovation, so his units, when they take damage, they stay permanently damaged. And now we have 2 Cyclones, a nice little hit squad by Maru, just taking out everything from innovation.
That quickly snowballed when the Marines are finally done with. The Cyclone of innovation is just not as microable as Maru here with the medevac. Now another Raven pops out for the auto turret, but quick lock-on takes care of that. Both the Cyclones still alive. The medevac finally gets taken down, but so does innovation's Cyclone.
Oh my gosh, this went from bad to worse. Even the Raven on the high ground gets picked off there by Maru. 37 supply against 57. Maru is bringing the heat immediately, and this isn't slowing down. He's just rallying all his units across the map, even taking a third behind the Sunbergrub.
That's extreme. I mean, more Ravens on the way for both players, but Maru, just with a handful of units left over, is trying to maximize the damage here. He's taken a 14, 15, 16, gosh, keeps going on, worker lead. And he has a decent enough army, especially with the lock-on here. No, he cannot grab the tank. All right, he does get out of lock-on range. That was scary.
That certainly was. And 26 workers now against 43. Innovation is flustered at this moment in time. He is behind in every regard. And the fact that Maru can defensively siege up at Innovation's base and just feel so safe behind all of this, this is crazy.
Oh, the Cyclone's still there. That Raven needs to be very careful with where it positions itself. I mean, one tank shot will kill the Cyclone, so it can only go so far, but continuing to be unknowing with an auto turret. It's not going to grab 2 auto turrets, actually, but not going to grab that. No, there's, with 2 of them focus firing, that got awfully close, but good mass repair with the mules included. Maru's not letting go of this position, though, and it's still a big problem for Innovation.
Oh, that turret did absolutely nothing against Maru there. Innovation's orbital is actually getting really low, too. Is the tank in range of the tank? No, it isn't either. This is just costing Innovation so much, and back at home for Maru, he's even getting the upgrades that he needs as well. The +1, the +1. Third orbital is now done. Innovation struggling to stay alive and even loses his tanks on the low ground. GG, Maru takes a super convincing game 1.